Guys, welcome. Sound Design Hangout. I have some bad news. Don't worry, nothing bad, nothing that bad. But I actually just recorded this SDHO like 4 hours ago, and it was a great Sound Design Hangout. All across the board, good stuff. I don't even know how this happened, but you're not going to see it. The reason why you're not going to see it is because you're going to see this one. And maybe that's a good thing, because the thing that I learned, the thing that I stumbled upon, I had no idea I was going to do it. Guys, check this out. Own the thumbnails. Yes, so the one I just posted is this one, SDHO 7, but I printed out or minted 25 copies. It is a very reduced amount. Get you into the SDHO history books. Look at how beautiful this art is. SDHO 7 was probably very good, but oh my God, look at this art. It just calls to you, and there will only be 25, very much reduced amount, and you own a piece of the SDHO history. Long story short, we're getting into tension. We haven't covered tension in a while, but we're gonna do it the way that I wanna do it, which is, you know that I like those ambient sounds, those long, sustained, meditative sounds. I like doing them with white noise. I like doing it with white noise, but then also passing it through like a Corpus device, or generating it with Collision, which is like Corpus, and Corpus is like basically inside Collision. You guys know, right? I mean, you watch all these, so you know. But I was so excited about Collision and Corpus, and like all of the ways that it was giving me these like nice meditative ambient sounds, that I was like, well, holy shit, you know, tension is less known, I think, for most people, less known for me. I've gotten some good sounds with it, but could I do like an ambient meditative sound with tension? And that's what I knew I had to do, because when I do these, I do them when I'm excited. You know what I mean? I was excited to do that. I was curious. I like to be curious, because, you know, I don't like finish a whole lot of music. Like, I've got like all kinds of music everywhere on my hard drive, but like I don't finish music because like it's kind of not really the point for me, you know? Like, I get excited to work on things when I feel curious. I'm like, what if I could do that? And so anyways, and normally that stuff will then lead to like, oh, I'll finish, you know, something that I'll finish. But in any event, tension. And maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best because like I learned some pretty cool stuff, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. This one might be short because we don't have to mess around too much to get the good sound. This is gonna be great. I'm sure if I watched all of my other tension videos, I'd be like, oh yeah, those are pretty good, but like, I don't know. I found out some secrets, guys. And maybe you don't care, but like for what I would love it to do, I think I figured it out. Like, I think I might have hit, I always said like, you know, oh, I hit a new level with Collision, you know, because who uses Collision, right? Besides us. And I think I can finally say it for tension. I think I got to the next level with tension, and let me pass it on to you guys. And if you like those long-ass, sustained, amorphous, continuously evolving ambient sound textures, well, I found the best way to do it with tension, right? How often do you play with tension? Hey, by the way, smash a like if you're liking this, and go into the comments and let me know when's the last time you opened up tension. Please do it. I have not used tension in 7 years. This is the default tension, okay? So you go in, instruments, double click tension. Now here is it right out the gate. Now, remember when I said if you don't really like the sound, maybe you do. By the way, master volume, I'm just gonna take it down 6 dB. the next most probable thing that you might want to do is pitch it down an octave. Like, this is too high. And actually, I just want to get a default reverb, because even though we've got these resonators going on in the tension, you know, this physical modeling synthesis, I want it to like, so dry would be no reverb, and like, listen to when I turn it up. Why not? But shift down arrow, take it down an octave. Again. Okay. So we've got shells. Remember when I talked about like oscillator, or excuse me, remember when I talked about operator and I talked about analog, and I said they've got these little shells, and if you click this shell, then this pops up, and then this shell, and then this pops up. Tension is kind of similar in that there's these shells. So see Exeter right here? If I turn this off and make sure you're record enabled, if I click a note, we're going to get nothing. So we have to have excititer here. Now, we've been playing a lot with collision and corpus on here, and it's physical modeling synthesis that is trying to mimic mallet percussion. Mallet percussion is like xylophones, marimbas, glockenspiels, things like that. It's percussion that you hit with like a mallet, you know, like a stick, like a little mallet, and you hit some sort of like resonating bar or beam or membrane or whatever. Tension is very similar, except instead of like a percussion instrument, you know, it's a stringed instrument. And so what do you do with a stringed instrument? Well, use a pick. Guitarists, they pluck a guitar with a pick, unless they are finger pickers. Hey, smush like if you're a finger picker instead of a pick picker. Whoop! I remember like when I was learning bass guitar, the biggest dividing factor is like people who are like, no, you're supposed to finger pick. And then other people are like, no, you're supposed to use a pick. And like, they've been at like civil war for like 30 or 40 years. Okay, so we need an exciter. See this thing called damper over here? We don't need it. If it's on, we get damper. See down here, termination? That's the other shell. Body, pickup. I'll make things real easy. Starting off, only worry about exciter, okay? This exciter is the most important section, followed by arguably the most important section, this string area right here. This doesn't change when we click around. These two are the most important. And then body. Body is really important because it gives it a resonating body of one of these, which you're not going to hear anything until you turn the decay up. And then pickup. Pickup's going to give it some wonderful like saturation, distortion, grit. But what it's really doing is like, do you want to pass this like metaphorical stringed instrument and like have an electric pickup on it like you would with an electric piano, with an electric guitar? You definitely want it. So exciter, pickup, body. Now what about these damper and termination? Short answer, no. At least not for me. I don't need it. Why? Well, first of all, what am I trying to do with tension? As I told you, I want to be able to make a long drone sound, okay, that just plays and plays. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it. Hint, we will, okay? We definitely will. But let's pretend we didn't know. Damper and termination is going to make our sound more smaller, shorter, less of a sustain, less of an envelope that rings out. Because think about this, so like with tension, we're not just physical modeling a stringed instrument. With this damper and termination, we're also simulating a hand, like a hand on a fretboard. And think about damping damping, just like you would also do with like when you're playing keys on like electric piano or a piano, like it dampens like those bars or whatever. So it's like muffling, it's like attenuating the sound. I don't want that. I want it to ring, ring, ring. So if you want to mess around with this, you can. Same thing with termination. Like if you strum a chord and then you like lift up and then it gets muted, like it's kind of like how you're terminating the strings. I don't need that. Now I will be, so I'm not even going to be turning on any of these because it just doesn't fit what I'm doing. Like if I'm trying to craft like a very staccato, you know what I mean? Like a staccato type sound. You know, staccato means like you're playing like short notes in like a succession, like melodies, like, you know what I mean? Then you might want to get in that because then you can like shape that sound, but like we don't need that. Now, disclaimer before we move on, I will let you know that playing with the damper and termination areas, it will alter your sound in a way that doesn't just damper it, but like it will give it like, it'll give the attack like part of it like different qualities. So but for my purposes with what I'm trying to achieve right now, don't need it, so it's going to be off. So where do we start with Exeter? First of all, we will either be selecting a plectrum, which is a pick. So what are we hitting this stringed, this like imaginal, that's probably what I was looking for, this imaginal 3D stringed instrument that maybe we're making in a 3D computer graphics program, and we wonder what kind of sounds it might make. Well, we can use this tension device and do physical modeling synthesis because it's all hypothetical. It's all hypothetical. Let's get into it. Plectrum, which is a pick, pluck a string, hammer, electric piano. What happens in the back of a piano? A string gets hit by a hammer. Bow. What might you do with the stringed instrument? You bow it like. But here's the thing. The bow intention sounds awful. In my opinion, it's very finicky. There's times when you turn a knob down, you get no sound, and then you slightly bring it up, and then you get like so much sound that like your ears start bleeding. I played around with it in the last SDHO, or no, the SDHO that didn't make it because I didn't get the audio. There was some weird glitch, like I told you. I played around with it. It was not good. I made fun of it. Maybe that's why I had to redo this, because the developer is like a big fan of the SDHO, and I'm like, and the bow, it's pure, it's poorly designed, I say. And the developer's like, and like, we don't want to hurt people's feelings on the sound design hangout. So who knows? Ain't gonna be messing with bow. You can do it at your own caution. If you do bow, take the master volume, lower it a bit, and then also this velocity over here, start off with it quite a bit lower, just words wise. Hammer bouncing is the same thing as hammer, except like if you think about like a hammer in the back of a piano lifting up and hitting, hammer bouncing would be, it's fine, it's cool, but for all intents and purposes, I either go with plectrum or hammer. They actually sound quite similar, so I'm gonna dial up with plectrum first. I may then mess around with hammer. From what I can tell, plectrum gives it more of like a synthier sound. Hammer is like, seems a bit more like attenuated, like a little bit like less timbrally bright and complex. I'm just gonna stick with plectrum and then move on. Experiment as you will. I'm trying to give you good jumping off points. So the biggest important thing, let's click a note. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's open this up. I need to make sure this is recording. And yes, of course it is. Yes, of course it is. Here we go. Tension. All right, I'm going to adjust protrusion and stiffness. From what I can tell, protrusion and stiffness, they really just affect the, which is why I think the string section down here is the most material to like getting sounds out of this. But like protrusion and stiffness, it's really just how punchy you want it. So let's listen. Yeah, like I'm gonna click it down there. But that's too much up here, right? Same thing with stiffness, very similar. Okay, next up is velocity, and then I also want to let you know about damping. Velocity and damping do very similar things to me, okay? So don't take my word for it. You play with it on your own. I leave them at their defaults at 50, okay? You will see what happens when I drag them down. They get quieter. When I drag them up, they get so loud it makes your ears want to bleed. I don't find I get any real material benefit from velocity or damping, but I will play with them and you can hear what I mean. Yeah. Okay, I guess I kind of needed a little bit more punch now damping. Yeah, it can drive, it can, yeah, so there's just no need to do that. Now position will do something. Listen to position. Yeah, so that's that. So basically protrusion and stiffness are very similar. Position is just gonna like make it sound a little bit different and you're gonna dial that into taste. But right now I'm gonna click it once. That's not sustain, that's like a second. Now I'm gonna hold it down. See how long it can sustain for if I hold it down. Okay, that's like 5 seconds. I need more. Once you like the sound you have, which I like the sound. Wonderful. Now we come to the best part of all, my friends. The string section. Decay. What do you think we want, guys? A high decay or a low decay? Well, first, let's see what 75 gives us. Well, that's that's what we've already been messing with. Let's put it on 33. Oh my God, that's horrible. Let's keep going down. Okay, so no matter what, we don't want it any less than 75 because that would just be nuts. Let's go to 100. Yes, we're getting closer. But now I'm gonna punch it. Okay, hold it down. Let's go to damping here. Think about when you're like palm muting. Adjust it to how you need it. And let's see how long it sustains. Now let's do a quick punch. Here's where the ambient happens. Here's where the ambient happens. Ratio. Listen, let's bring the ratio up to 100. Let's bring it down to 0. Get ready, folks. If you put the ratio at 0, it'll ring forever. If you need to stop, turn it off. Look. We got it. Aye, filter global. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I even stopped it, but it's still gonna ring. Look how it's holding. Look how it's holding. You gotta get ratio on 0. Wonderful. We're done. We solved it. Now let's do hammer. It'll sound different, but it'll sound a little bit more muffled, a little bit more like... Hey, that bloke's gone mental. Yeah, by the way, this filter global section is really great. So I actually put the ratio on 1% so it doesn't ring that long. So now what we're gonna do is let's add this pickup. So without, yeah. Listen to that. Body. Decay, you gotta do the decay. You gotta do the decay. Take off some highs. Let's get a chorus. Let's get a chorus. Yes, this is tension, guys. So take a look at this. No, get ratio back to 0. We need it to ring longer. By the way, the reason why I made it like shorter like this is because when I, it's almost like you have to like hit it and then it rings forever. But if you hold it down for some weird reason, it like, anyways, this is just what I found out, but experiment on your own. Maybe I should do that. Some delay. Give me some of that feedback. See if we can really change it. Change the sound a little bit with a lot of this delay. I'm gonna move the EQ over here, open it up, take off some of these highs. We're cutting a little bit of highs here. We need a lot more. Crank the feedback all the way up. Is this dropping? The volume dropping? Let's get into, where is the reverb? Oh, look at that, listen to that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The redux. Wrong channel. Ooh. Put it before the EQ. So we cut some of this out. More decay. Can't you hear that in this? Can't you hear it in it? Can't you hear it in it? La 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 la. You know what I mean? Like you can fucking do anything. You can do anything with it. Insert audio track. Resampling. Record enable. I think it's just gonna keep playing. So we can fade it out with the track fader. Wonderful. When you put it to that ratio, was it ratio? Look, see, it's still playing. It's just the track's muted. You know what I mean? When this ratio is at 0%, it just plays forever. Like, I learned that today, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, look, watch. It's still going. You gotta go in here and just turn tension off. Shift tab. Wait a second. Turn tension off. Oh, turn off the delay too. Shift tab. All right, guys. Well, I need to get back to other things. I'm gonna get back to some 3D art, but I wanted to come down because like I opened up my I opened up Blender and I was just like, I made this great I made this great sound design hangout later doing this, and to be honest with you, this is probably better. It was interesting. I had a lot more spiritually I had a lot more spiritual minded things to say, more than this one, unless I just can't remember what I said right in this one, which could be possible. But I'm going to leave it with just taking this audio that we resampled. I'm so nervous about this because I'm like, I lost all this. I had all of it. I don't know how I lost it. I started disconnecting all of the audio inputs and stuff. And like, I don't know if I think I might have turned on a different audio setting before I recorded. And then when I disconnected that, it's really weird. I don't know. That's the first time it's ever happened. I've made 60 videos this year in 2022. I don't know when this is going to come out. Maybe this will come out in 2023. I have no idea. This, I'm just going to go over a few quick little things before we get going. And it's audio. So what do you do with audio? Warp it. Bring it in. Repitch is what I like. I'm gonna unclick warp and I'm gonna click it again, which will give me access to this BPM. Let's shorten it. Shorten it again. No. Times it by 2. Times it by 2. Times it by 2. Did you know we could do that? I think I said this is my video on my channel where I said this is my favorite thing at Ableton. Insert MIDI track. Let's go to instruments, drop a sampler. Drag this here. Filter global, give it some release. Tiny bit of attack. Turn this, mute this dude. And now we can play it. We're playing this. Play chord. Sounds wonderful. I love this. It sounds great, doesn't it?